Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk to you about epigraphs, and you see on the screen right now that a copy of the first page of my draft. So I'm going to do that real quick and then talk to you about epigraphs. So this is MLA format, some of it, not all the way. I'm going to show you the last step. So the first page of all the essays you submit this semester should have this heading on the left-hand side with your name, the course, your professor's name, and the date that the draft is due or the assignment is due. Your title for your piece of writing, your memoir, is centered on the page. And the thing that I wanted to show you really quick is the header. You're going to have something up here in the right-hand corner of your draft. So I'm going to do this really quickly. I just double-clicked on the top of my page, and this header tool appeared. If I double-click below it, it goes away. If I double-click above where that line goes, it comes back. I want to insert a page number, so I'm going to click page number. I'm going to hover my mouse here on top of page. I'm hovering, not clicking, because I want to select plain number 3. I'm going to click that to insert it, and I'm going to type my last name because this is my paper. So if it's your paper, you type your last name and put a space. Now when I double click below the line, I will have what's called the header, and this is sometimes called a running header. It will be on every page of your draft, except second page will say your last name in page 2, and the third page will say your last name in page 3. So that's how you format the header. So this is the heading, this is the header, and this is your title. All right, let's talk about epigraphs. I'm going to, I need to keep that centered because your epigraph is going to be centered under your title. So I'm going to slide my browser over here and do a search, and I've decided to name my memoir about my grandmother teaching me how to make her secret recipe for spaghetti and meatballs on top of Old Smoky, and so I'm going to do a search for that. We, in fact, did sing this song a lot when I was a child as well. So I could do an epigraph from a song. So an epigraph is a passage that you will quote from any text, a song, the Bible, a poem, a novel, a nonfiction essay. And you're going to do a search probably for a concept. So let's say I've decided to use a concept to find my epigraph. My essay's about my grandmother teaching me to cook. So what if I did a search for cooking is love? And then I might get some, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add the word quote. Cooking is love quotes. So what I'm looking for is, some text, some quote from a larger text that I can use in my essay. And what an epigraph does is it sort of sets up for the reader what the piece will be about. It sort of provides a theme, if you will, or a window through which to look at this story. And lots of writers have used them. I'll show you an example one in a few minutes. But check this out. So I'm pretending for a minute that I'm not using the on top of Old Smoky quote. Cooking is love quotes. Let's see, Brainy Quote is a good website to look at because there are going to be lots of quotes there. And I'm also going to scroll down and see if there's anything. So here's here's a website, Top 25 Cooking and Love Quotes. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and do Cooking is Love, and I'm going to do Goodreads. Because Goodreads, if you've used Goodreads, is a really cool website that helps you to track books you've read, but they also do a nice job of helping readers to select passages they really like from the things we're reading and then create collections. So let's see, culinary romance, that might work. Let's see if it gives me any quotes or if it's just going to list out some books. Let's see. It looks like it's just going to list books I could read in this category. So that's not going to work for me. And I'm glad that as I'm doing this search, some of my searching is not working out. Let's see. Let's look at some cooking quotes. So this is what I'm talking about. Goodreads has this feature where you can go in and put quotes from different texts that you like. So let's see what we have here. All right, so let's pretend I really like this Julia Child quote, okay? Someone has typed it in, given credit to Julia Child for saying it, okay? And you notice over here that Goodreads has categorized quotes from different written texts by type or by category, so you could check this out. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. So I'm going to copy it. I've left-clicked and dragged over it. I'm copying it now, and I'm going to go back to my Word document. And I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to fix it so it's in the same font. So it is. It's not the same font size, so let me fix that. And I'm going to italicize it. So usually when we quote things in academic essays, we use quotation marks. But in this case, since this is an epigraph, it's going to go right under the title, right before, actually I think I'm putting it, no, it's good, right under the title, and it's the first thing after the title that the person reading your essay will read, and we will kind of think about the overall concepts as sort of controlling your essay, or that we're going to encounter these ideas in your story somewhere. So when you're doing the search for your epigraph, think about concepts or ideas that you think are kind of controlling ideas or controlling themes in your essay, and try to find an epigraph related to that. And so let me also show you that at the bottom, we're going to put Julia Child, I think it's Childs, and then we're going to start our essay. Okay, and so your first sentence will be here. All right, so you heard me say in class that we'll do the works cited page for this source in class on Monday. So all you have to do for the weekend is find a quote that you want to use for your story that relates to your story in some way. It doesn't have to be a direct tie. It could be more conceptual in nature, more abstract, and you're going to sort of flesh out that abstract idea in your story to show us how it works. Okay, so we'll do the works cited in class. And the last thing I was going to show you real quick, let me go back to my browser, is how these epigraphs have been used in other texts. So I'm going to look for famous epigraphs. And so let's see, let's look at this one. 17 famous epigraphs that you should always read. So this is going to kind of talk about what epigraphs are. You could check this out for yourself, but here are some famous ones. Let's see, I'm going to pause over a couple of easy ones. So Stephen King, you guys know who he is probably. He wrote a book about how to write memoirs. I've read it, and he had these two epigraphs at the start of his book. And notice that he is using the quotation, this website's using the quotation marks, but if you look in the book, it's in italics, and then the person who said it is underneath with that little dash in front. So he had these two. Honesty is the best policy, and liars prosper. Let's see, let's scroll down for another one. Another really famous one is a famous epigraph was used, actually two, you see here two listed, was used by Hemingway when he wrote his first novel, and probably the most famous of the two is that he used a passage from the Bible here to help him to write his story about, gosh, the sun also rises, just about being drunk and traveling and having sex with people. So the idea that every day the sun's going to come back up and you're going to try again. And he also was looking at this generation of people who weren't really doing much with their lives except for waking up, deciding to go drink for the day, maybe travel somewhere and have sex with one another. So it's a really strange story, but pretty accurate for the time. Let's look at one other one. You guys have heard of The Great Gatsby, so this is the epigraph that was used at the beginning of the novel. So again, this would have shown up in the novel, first page before the title page. But the title of the book is on the front, right? So then this is in italics, and then this was the text that he took that from. Okay, so some famous epigraphs, you can check that out and read a little bit more about them on this website if you want to go Google search it. But hopefully you have a better idea about how to find that epigraph. Try to find something really pithy, something really cool that you think when you read it you go, yeah, wow, that really makes me think about my story in a deeper way. And what's going to happen is that you're going to have to end up, dealing with one of those abstract ideas or concepts somehow in your story. So really think about how you want to search for that epigraph or that quote that you saw me search for, so that you can flesh out that idea in your story. All right, so enjoy doing your research for your epigraphs. Again, it can be from anything: the Bible, lyrics from a song, a story you've read before. You might even find a quote in one of the example memoirs we've read so far this semester. Just as an idea, you don't have to use that, but I'm just throwing it out there that these epigraphs can come from any source at all. A poem, a play, lots of people use Shakespeare quotes for epigraphs, so lots of possibilities here. I hope you find something cool. See you later.